Hi everyone, thank you for viewing us. So do us a favor, click that big red button down there that says subscribe. When you subscribe, it's totally free to you. Not only is it totally free, but you'll get a notification each Monday when we post new interviews, new insight, and new information. We hope you are enjoying what you're viewing thus far. Please tell your friends about us, tell your family members, your church members. Hey, find a stranger in the street, tell them about it too. We want to take this message to the world. Have a good day, and thank you for watching Alabasters. Thank you for tuning into Alabaster's Box with Tiffany Hayes, where we are inspiring and enriching thoughts. So today, guys, we have a very special guest, and let me tell you how special she is. Not only is she my son's guidance counselor at his school, but she was my guidance counselor at the same school when I was in elementary school. We have Miss Chambers here, a wonderful guidance counselor, and she's just going to come and have a chat with us and just share some of her wisdom with us. And you know, and so first and foremost, just thank you for coming onto the show and accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Oh,
I feel
no
it an
problem.
honor.
Oh, it is no problem at all. No problem. So let me ask you, who is Miss Chambers?
That's a multifaceted, many hats person. I am a wife of 42 years. 42 years.
Yes.
Wonderful husband.
Wow.
I am a mother of 2 by birth. One I got 30 years ago when she was a student at our school, and she's still with me. Then my mother, who is 93, I caretake for her. I have a wonderful sister and brother that I love and care for. Then I am, what do I do? I'm First Lady of our church. Our husband's our pastor. I'm a Christian education director for the city of Norfolk and the AME Zion district. And I am the guidance counselor at elementary school in Chesapeake Public Schools.
So you're a busy woman.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Wow. So a full life, just a full life.
Oh, yes.
And you enjoy every bit of it.
Every second. Every
So
second.
how did you get into the different arenas that you're in now? Like, what was the first thing that started? Were you a guidance counselor first and it just took off? Or?
Well, and as far as with the school, I taught special ed for 9 years.
Really?
And then in my teaching, I had opportunity to work with some of our kids who had, not as far as the teaching part, but at our school, we had some kids that had some challenges with behavior. And so my principal thought that maybe they would listen to me, and so they would come to me. He offered me an hour a week to do some behavior things. Now, this was back in the 80s, and there was no guidance counselors in elementary school. And so I had the gift to relate and to help kids with communications. And so he let me have a 1 hour a week with them. Someone else took care of my regular class, and we would do behavior mod things, anger management things, and it really did work to turn around some of the behaviors. Then in 86, the state of Virginia decided that they were going to put elementary counselors or counselors in elementary schools. So Chesapeake, ODU, and Norfolk State got together and designed a graduate program for counselors, and different principals selected teachers at the different schools in Chesapeake Elementary that they thought would function and would do well. So my principal threw me right in the hat, and went to school for 3 years. And in 89, I got my master's from ODU in elementary guidance and counseling.
Wow. So your reputation was already building up for that journey of counseling kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So it sounds like you have to have a lot of grace with what you do as well. So can you tell me, what is a woman of grace?
A woman of grace realizes what God has given, the unmerited grace to each of us, and through obedience and following the direction, the inner strength and love that He has given her, she projects it and shows it through her actions, through her love, compassion, and forgiveness to others, and which is what God gave us.
Right.
So, as a woman of grace, we are expected to show that, and it really does reflect in what we do and what we say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it sounds like that attitude has not only affected your life, but affected millions of kids around you as long as you've been a guidance counselor, and to be married for 42 years. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but your daughter is a counselor as well,
yes,
right?
My daughter is the counselor at the guidance director at the high school, where my children, my elementary school kids eventually attends.
Wow.
So many times she'll call me and say, "Mom, guess who I have in the office? And this is what they're doing. Talk to them." And I hear them, "Don't tell Miss Chambers, don't tell Miss Chambers. Miss Chambers, I'm going to do better." And it's just, it doesn't stop. It is touching to continue to grow. They know from me to her that we try to build a community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I hear is in this is that you genuinely care for the people and for the children that you affect.
I really feel like the community and the children, past and present, are my family. And because of the way, having the longevity of being there for 38 years, my family, my kids, my husband know the community, and they don't, they support me in all that I do, the time that I spent. My husband is right there with me. My kids, when I would do some Saturday or summer activities in the community, they were right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you always had this attitude of just grace and the definition of this, or did you have some challenging moments along the bumps and bruises along the way? Or so I'm asking for our viewers too. I'm asking for you, but I'm also asking for me. I'm also asking for me.
Listen, I have always been blessed and graced by God. But yes, but I really, I mean, the things that most people go through, I went through. People that see me sometimes don't think that I have had struggles and trials. I had a single, my mother raised my sister and I until we were 10, and she remarried, and then I grew up in Norfolk in the projects, and but I was always in the church, and my expectations from my mother and my church were that this is who I am. Right. Not, you're not outside our door. Our address was 1525, and my mom said 1525 is what you are in and out. Absolutely. You carry that into the community. Absolutely. And we did not even establish that our community was bad. We always were able to do things to, my mom had the neighborhood where everybody could play. We couldn't go out the yard, but anybody could come and play in our yard. And they had our rules. So that helped establish them as to what was right and wrong. Absolutely. And I had the same situation when my kids was growing. I was noted to have a yard full of kids during the summer, being in education. A lot of times I was out off. I didn't have to work. So a lot of the parents did. So it was nothing for me to have 10 or 12 kids in the yard playing games. I put a tent up. We do lunch. I got to the point where I'd have to ask some of the parents, I'm going to need y'all to send some hot dogs or bologna or something so I can feed them.
Absolutely.
And they knew they were safe.
So this has been your life, children and loving on people and in the church and having that relationship with God. That has been your life from a child on up.
It really has. My pastor when I was growing up was Reverend General Lee Scott, and he used to call me Grandma because even as a child he said I was a little old lady, and a lot of times when he did home visits or gave communion, he'd ask my grandmama, my mom, could I ride with him, and the deaconesses, and we would sit there and the people enjoyed talking because as you can tell now I like to talk. But I enjoy making people feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I think you do that very well. Well, I guess you would have to. One, you're a guidance counselor, and second, you're building a community of children, especially in the environment that you're in or the school that you're in. You actually need that support, that support, so that the children will know that my mom and dad not only cares about me, but there are people in this world that genuinely have my best interests at heart. And so that's what I think about when I think about Ms. Chambers. So even as adults, and we come back and pick up our children, we're like, hey, Ms. Chambers, and you're still there. That face that we have grown accustomed to, that face that we can come and talk to and what have you, and you're there to care for that person. And so, like I said, it sounds like it has always been this constant, continual growth that God has you on, just to be and flourish in who you are today. And so what are some of the, I guess, steps or key nuggets that you can tell women that, around my age bracket to say, hey, even with the being married for 42 years, I'm sure that has its ups, has its ups and downs too, but you still said, this is what I want, and being at the school for so long, this is what I believe I'm supposed to be in. So what would you tell my generation to say, just stick it in there, you got it?
You have to not go to a place to look at the place making you better. You carry the better in that place with you. And there are gonna be bumps, and I've had maybe 7, 8 principals in the time that I've all told, and I've had some awesome, strong, loving, giving principals to our community, and I've had some that made me hold on to my seat because I knew God put me there, and they were good in their own way, but our directions might have been a little different, or they didn't understand who I was, and I wasn't going to leave. That I am. Some of the ways I do are not conventional, but they were for the need of our school.
Absolutely.
Now, eventually, most of them, once they realized, in order to teach. My thing is ABCs and 1, 2, 3s are important, but if you're hungry, if you're sad, if you're cold, if you're out in a car living, then it's kind of hard to throw that focus to ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So I've always tried to find the nuggets to support the other things so that the teachers could do that ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And so some of our principals got focused on what they had to, which is to educate the kids. And they may have come from a situation that part of it wasn't the way to handle it. But in our school, this is what we need.
Right. And
they would say, well, Chambers, you can't do it that way. Obedience is something that I flourish on. I don't have to like it. And I try to tell the kids that you might not like everything, but you have to do it. And what God has given me the power to do was hold on to things that I couldn't fix do it the best I could, do it the way they said, and wait until he fixed it.
Absolutely.
It never has failed in 38 years that he did not redirect things in the direction he wanted them to go. It had nothing to do with these hands. Sometimes this head and this mouth he had to hold. But
so that's really biblical. Like what you're saying is strictly from the Bible. When you were hungry, I fed you. When you were naked, I clothed you. And so that's the approach that you're taking.
Yes,
with the children.
Always with the children and the adults. That I love to say that I get much more than I give, and because when I see you. And you were always a wonderful child and a beautiful student, but I see where you have become and how you are paying it forward and reaching out. I get that. That's my gift. I didn't have to turn you into anything. I didn't have to feed you. But it helps my heart to know, Tiffany, look at her. I see your child, and I say, yes. We have made growth. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you're basically, you want to make the impact, not by what you're saying or not by, look at me, this is what I'm doing, but truly being a servant of God in the capacity that he's given you.
Yes.
Guys, if I could just get up and give her a hug right now, I totally would. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Ms. Chambers.
So very, very welcome. Wow. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it is not a problem. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed Ms. Chambers today. Is there a way that they can reach you? Do you have Facebook or
I do have Facebook. I'm not very good at it, but I do have Facebook. My daughter got that all set up for me.
Okay. So find Ms. Chambers online and just connect with her. And I'm assuming that you can give some feedback if if you have a child that's having challenges in school or what have you. With her years of experience, I'm sure that she can share some of her wisdom and experience with you on how to help them in so many ways. So again, thank you so much for tuning into Alabaster's Box with Tiffany Hayes, where we are inspiring and enriching thoughts.
Hi everyone, thank you for viewing us. So do us a favor, click that big red button down there that says subscribe. When you subscribe, it's totally free to you. Not only is it totally free, but you'll get a notification each Monday when we post new interviews, new insight, and new information. We hope you are enjoying what you're viewing thus far. Please tell your friends about us, tell your family members, your church members. Hey, find a stranger in the street, tell them about it too. We want to take this message to the world. Have a good day, and thank you for watching Alabaster's Box.